is the Sterling vs. Podcast, here to inform and entertain the Sonic fan in you. Welcome and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Sterling vs. Podcast, and I have a special treat for all of you. I'm interviewing a good friend of mine, Mardic.
Booyah!
He's a redubber of various Sonic games and whatnot, and I'm going to interview him and see what he's all about. So, Mardic, how you doing this fine day?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a very cold day in Canada land for Evan.
Has it snowed any large amount lately?
Actually, no, and I've heard that for the Winter Olympics that's taking place in Vancouver, we don't actually have enough snow to hold the Olympics. We have to, make artificial snow, but I don't know, it's something to do with global warming, but that's not for this podcast.
Well, if anything, you guys can borrow some of our snow, because we just had a storm. We have a foot and a half, and we have not seen snow in a while here in Jersey.
That makes no sense that you have more snow than me.
It doesn't make sense that we haven't had snow majority of the winter until now. It's kind of like, where have you been all winter, Snow? What's up? What's going on? Anyway, down to the interview. I'd like to start with, who are you? What do you do? Tell us all about who Mardic is.
Well, Mardic is a username that I hate. I came up with it when I was on an S0E05 forum, and I was originally known as Shattuck, but it was uncreative as heck, and I wanted my own name since there was a bunch of other Shattocks everywhere. I just threw in the name Mark, M-A-R-K, and just slapped him in with Shattuck, and then you have Mardic. Then I got a YouTube account because I had a S0E02 as well. And then S0E2 got boring, so then I only had a YouTube, and then I started making videos, blah, 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 blah. But I prefer to go by Evan when it's voice, but it doesn't really matter if someone's texting me and says, hey, Mardic, but when someone says, hey, Mardic, through voice, it's just kind of like, whoa, that's kind of weird, I have a name, it's not Mardic. But what do I do? When it comes to sitting on my butt, that's voice acting, making music, voice chatting on Skype most of my life, and pretty much, did I say voice acting? Yeah, I did. And drawing. And when it comes to not sitting on my butt, I snowboard and I wakeboard. I don't know if everybody knows what wakeboarding is, but that's when you're behind a boat and you're on a board holding onto a rope, and yes, you board stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to me, besides the fact that my last name is really hilarious, but that's good.
So who influences you in your work, and why do you do any of it in general? I mean, there's a reason you like Sonic. Explain all that to us.
Yeah, influence-wise, influence wouldn't be what you would assume. Like, dubbing wasn't I didn't do it because other people did. I didn't do it because it was a category of videos. I was originally on Putfile. It was a website that's now non-existent. I don't know if you know about it, but Putfile was a website like YouTube. It didn't have their own Flash players like they do now. The only reason I moved to YouTube was because you can put videos straight onto your website, and I had a website, so I wanted to be able to just easily take the HTML and put it on my website. So I switched over to YouTube. But on Putfile, I normally did these kind of dubs with Sonic plushies. But then we started, I watched Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's kind of a game show, not really though, the points don't matter, and it's a bunch of comedians. And one of the events that they do is voice over movies or something, and it's really funny, and I did it with Sonic X. And then the games and just everything in general, it didn't matter what it was. And then I found out that it was a really popular thing for everyone to do. So for influences, none of that really, but my fascination with Sonic, I really wish I could tell you how I got into it, because as far as I know, the first moment I ever breathed air, I liked Sonic. I don't remember ever not liking Sonic, really. I don't know, but the first Sonic game I remember playing was Sonic 2 for the Game Gear, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that Sonic 2 for the Game Gear was my first one, but the thing is, I don't know why I would play Sonic 2 if I didn't like it. I don't know how, what appealed. So I'm going to have to just say I have no idea. It really depends on what you want to take it. But, yeah, that's pretty much my fascination with Sonic. Right currently, though, I haven't really been agreeing with everything that Sega's been doing. And it's not the games. The games are good, in my opinion, that is. Except for Sonic Next Gen, that's obviously eye-openingly bad. But I don't like the art direction. I don't like Sonic's appearance or anything like that, or his personality. The voice is okay. It can be done right. It's not his fault. And I'm just gonna, stop talking because I'm talking a lot.
No, that's okay, Today, this is your show. You can talk about all you want, This is all about you.
Okay, thing is, I love classic Sonic, I love adventure style Sonic, but then anything after that, like, is bad. Like, I don't, like, I respected Sonic Next Gen for one thing and one thing only, and that was, like, I mean, Sonic looked really weird, but at least, like, they were trying to make him like he was in Adventure Days. I mean, they failed, obviously, but they were trying. I mean, they could have tried harder. But, like, nowadays, like, I found out, I looked back, and Secret Rings was the first Sonic game where Sonic looked like I didn't like that idea. Like, Secret Rings, he looked okay, but it's just been pushed further to the point where I think he's ugly, actually. I think he's, like, hideous. So, yeah, I don't really support his current design, and I'm hoping they're gonna toss that out ASAP, because I don't agree with that. And Classic Sonic, if they switch that over to Classic Sonic, you know, chubbier, shorter, quilled, black-eyed, you know, that, I like that better than now, too. Like, it's like, this is the worst idea for Sonic ever. So it's kind of weird for me to complain about the appearance too much, but yeah. What were you saying?
So you don't like, you know, the longer quills, the green eyes, the slightly slenderish body?
No, I do like that, because I said I like the adventure style, but like Secret Rings and Unleashed and all that, I don't know if I can really describe. He still has green eyes. His quills are still long, but, you know, there's a different style, like Adventure to Secret Rings. I don't know. There's definitely a change there. It's noticeable to me. I don't know if it's noticeable to anybody else, but if you look at, like, Sonic Adventure style, like, artwork, it's 2D artwork, but they can easily convert that over to 3D. But I'm talking about, like, the art, not the gameplay. In-game, for Secret Rings, Sonic looks fine. I think he looks great in-game. But I'm talking about, like, the CGI art, like the picture that represents the game, you know? That's the stuff I don't like. In-game, I'm not really having many problems with. But since graphics are improving, like Unleashed, they brought that CGI official drawing Sonic thing into the game itself, so I'm kind of afraid, because I don't want that Sonic in game. It's bad, but they're doing it. I don't like it. Yeah.
I mean, you know, as you said, 06 was 4. Officially, he's 3'3", but he looked really tall in that game.
Yeah, it was too tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was all streamlined, all his hair, you know. Besides the way he moved in game, just the way he looked, just appearance-wise, he just looked weird. I mean, I kind of like the Unleashed look. It wasn't too bad, but there's been so many changes in design. I have to really dig down deep to, you know, find out not only the differences, but which ones I like, which ones I don't like. Because writers, I mean, it's not part of the main series, but those models were kind of weird too, to me.
If you fix the big hands and big feet, they would look okay.
Yeah.
But, if I had to compare the in-game model from Sonic Next Gen to Sonic Unleashed, in-game wise, Sonic Next Gen is horrible, and I would go for the Unleashed one way better. But I'm talking about, like, the official art, like, the art that, like, I don't know if you saw that one where it looks like Sonic's in mid-jump. I mean, I didn't mind. I mean, he could be a little shorter. He's supposed to be a little shorter. And his mouth opens, like, sideways. I don't know if anyone else notices that, but it's like, when it opens. It looks...
That's so weird. I mean, I would understand 2D art. It's you know, because it's at the angle, you know, it's stylized that way. But when you translate it to 3D, like, that's not cool.
The best example is in Secret Rings when Sonic goes, "My third wish!" Like, his mouth, you can see it, and it opens. It's like, oh! It's like a black hole of nothingness, and his teeth are facing the right direction, but his lips are, like, sideways. So you'll see his teeth when he opens, and they'll be correct, but his lips will just be like, wow, wow.
Oh, I should have wished for a fixed mouth or something. So, Mardic, we lightly touched upon your thoughts on the designs of Sonic, but the franchise in general, it's gone under a change, especially, you know, if you've been here from the beginning. You could definitely see how, you know, fans react to games, characters, and, you know, all that. What are your general thoughts on this franchise? You know, past and present, see where it's heading?
Franchise-wise, I'm thinking that they're putting a lot more effort into future games. Like, they're going, like, a little more, I don't know, like, they could definitely put a little more effort, but it's been putting a smile on my face, the amount of effort they're putting into stuff. Like, Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games, that was, like, 20 times better than the first one. Like, the only good event in the first one, to me, was the running one, and that was short-lived. Like, it got boring really fast. But the classic games were great. I loved every single one of them. Even Game Gear and all, like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Game Gear, like I said, it was like one of my first ones. And it's apparently one of the hardest Sonic games. And it's kind of good to start with the hardest Sonic game, because then all the other ones seem easy, right? So there's never really been a Sonic game that hasn't been able to put a smile on my face, really, because it's Sonic, and it's hard for me to be mad. So I find that when the fan base just whines and complains about something, like Sonic being in a car, for example, my goodness, I don't even understand how somebody could complain so much about something that's so obvious to answer. Why is Sonic in a car? Well, because it's only fair if Sonic's in a car and everyone else is. I mean, if Sonic is on his feet and everyone else is in a car, and Sonic loses to a car, wouldn't you be more angry? Like, Sonic's in a car, it's a racing game, it's a car racing game, Sonic is going to race in a car with other people, so if he loses, it makes more sense. The end. I find that people just find really silly reasons to complain about some things in the Sonic franchise, like Sonic and the Black Knight, another gimmick. I mean, Werehog, I didn't like that at all. But I was able to settle. I can settle for the sword and the car. I mean, we're gonna get a Sonic without that. But Werehog was just kind of like, whoa, that's a pretty big change. That's lacking in speed whatsoever. So I didn't agree with that. But there was still day stages, so it was still a good game. And Werehog was still good for, like, it was programmed nicely. It's just, it's not the kind of games I like because it's just not what I'm going for. But, so Sonic and the Black Knight was actually one of my favorite games to date. Like, not compared to all the rest ones, but, like, currently, like, in this generation, Sonic Unleashed and Sonic and the Black Knight have to be one of my favorite Sonic games because Sonic Unleashed, because it's programmed beautifully. The day stages are just so much thought put into everything, and it was just so smooth, and everything about it I like. But there was, the letdown of Werehog and the stages being way too long. And sometimes Unleashed, I felt like I was always going to die in the harder stages. Same with Secret Rings, I always felt like I was going to die. I don't like that feeling. Sonic and the Black Knight, a lot of people complain about... I guess they haven't played the game when they say this. They're like, oh, it's just like Werehog, you're going to have to stop and, like, fight enemies. Right. No. All you have to do is run, you do a homing attack before your homing attack collides with an enemy, you slash, and then it's gonna kill like 10 of them. And I think that's awesome, because he just combos like crazy, like everything is a combo, and I just love... It looks visually impressive, and like just seeing him do that, and I thought it was amazing that he was doing like a spin dash in the air with a sword in his hand. And I just loved how Sonic and Shadow actually fought again for the first time since like Sonic Heroes. Like for some reason he loved him again in Sonic Next Gen. Like, no, they're supposed to fight, that's what they're made for. Pretty much that's what I feel for the franchise.
Definitely have to agree that Sonic is trying to keep, Sonic alive, fresh, and all these gimmicks, they want to keep it alive. They don't want to keep it boring. And even though a lot of the old school fans complain, they're, Sonic Team isn't going to stop. They're going to come up with something crazy. I mean, even after Sonic 4, they're going to keep making crazy games. But I think that we're at a point where this is a deciding factor of what they're doing. Like how far they're willing to go to really put Sonic in a place where he's, suppose you could say, uncomfortable. I mean, Werehog, it was the opposite of what Sonic was. And thinking about how Sonic would have felt, I don't have this speed anymore. How will I do this? He dealt with it. And how the fans react will definitely, influence them for future games. Even though lately their love for not only Sonic, but the group, the developers, they've just been really hanging on everything that they've made so far since the Adventure days, because people love the Adventure series. And they started dwindling after Heroes, and then the whole thing was a mess. Then there was a split. All of a sudden, it was just a split, old school, new school, and it's just been wild. And the way Sonic Team has been trying to handle it, I think they've been doing it, man. I'll tell you. So we talked about a couple of the games you like, but what are your overall favorite games? Like top maybe 5-ish from like all time.
Well, I can tell you it's hard to say what games that I find are like the favorite, but I can tell you what games that I don't even bother with anymore because I've tried them and I don't like them and I will not play them. So first off, shooters, no. Shooters, I can't, no shooters. I'll be running forward and I'll be like, why am I not moving forward? And there'll be a garbage can in front of me. I can't see below me. I can't see to my left, my right. It's like playing paintball with a hoodie on. You can't see anything. And my brother's told me that the way he plays is that he can hear footsteps. But that's not cool. I just can't deal with that. So that's one. RPGs, no, boring. They're not supposed to be fun, and they're not fun. They're fun if you like thinking. And if you have fun thinking and having fun, like being glad you made the right decisions, and you like this deep stories, but I like deep stories, but I like to have fun as well. So that's no. Strategy games, no. Like, I can't play that. That friggin' Roller Coaster Tycoon's the most interesting one I can think of, but anything else where you're controlling an army of people and you make them attack, no. That. And, anything else that's, like, based off of real life, like Sims, for example, no. I don't, or Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing was interesting for, like, a second, and then as soon as I, like, paid off all my money from Tom Nook, it was boring. It's like, okay, have fun. It's just... But, series that I like other than Sonic would have to be, like, I'm safe with platformers, because the reason I like platformers is because the camera is normally pretty good for being able to see what's around you, and they're normally pretty fun and interesting, each one of them, and that would have to be, like, the, you know, most known ones, like Sonic. I like Mario to a certain extent. I do. I liked Mario Sunshine. I did. Most people don't, but I did. But, I like... Well, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, but those are the older ones. I like the older ones, not the... I like Bomberman. That's interesting. The camera's above. It's just a fun little game. But whenever they tried to add story to it, no, messed it up. Dragon Ball Z games, I like those too, though. And, like, the obvious. I like fighting games, too. Fighting games are always a win. I like them all, no matter what. But that's pretty much it, besides the obvious. I mean, I have a lot more, but you said top 5, and I already talked a lot longer than a top 5.
So specific Sonic games, you know.
Oh, Sonic games for favorite? Okay, I can pick one in each gen. I can. So classic generation where it was all 2D, Genesis, or, you know, Sonic CD, you know, area. I'd have to say either... I mean, it's really hard to choose between Sonic 1, 2, and 3, because Sonic 3 is such a large game, and that's why I like it. And Sonic 2 is so... It's a lot more charming to me. I don't know why. It's just a very charming game. Sonic 1 is a really challenging game. I'd have to say that I like Sonic 2 the best out of the Genesis games. And don't, like, hit me or anything, because I think I'd probably put them in the order of Sonic 2, 3, and 1. But 1, like, was good for its time. So if we are talking about games that were good for their time, Sonic 1 would definitely be the best. I just need to choose one, dang it. Sonic 3, okay, let's choose Sonic 3, because it's the biggest and it deserves the recognition that it was, you know, the amount of work that was put into it, it deserves it. So Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles, all that stuff. And for midterm, I'd have to say Sonic Adventure is my favorite for the 3D games. It was the first 3D game. It introduced the homing attack. The homing attack was invented to simulate the bouncing off that had in the Genesis. So I don't like it when 2D games have the homing attack, because it doesn't make sense. Homing attack is invented to simulate what is already in 2D games. So yeah, and then last gen, like I've already said, Sonic and the Black Knight, my current gen, Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic Unleashed, they're exactly tied. Sonic and the Black Knight would have been my favorite if it was as long as Unleashed was. But Unleashed would still be longer without all those stupid Sun and Moon Medals things. So if it was as long as Sonic Unleashed would have been without the Sun and Moon Medal things, then I would like it the best. But since it's really short, I like them both the same.
What would you say the 3 worst games in all of Sonic history were? In terms of general design and whatnot.
Genesis days. Genesis days. The thing is, what's sad is for Genesis days, it's kind of a tie between Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic Spinball. Spinball's good. I love the music for it, and I enter and I'm walking, and it's sad because they taunt you. Like, you've got a normal Sonic game for some parts, and then you're pinballing. Like, pinballing is good in, like, one level of Sonic games. That's really nice, and I'd be really glad to see it in any Sonic game for one level. But not the whole game. No. Like, you're running, you're like, hey, I'm on foot, I'm Sonic, that's what I'm supposed to do, and now I'm spinning, and I don't even feel like I'm playing a Sonic game. No. 3D Blast, bad. Because every time I play it, I'm like, yeah, I remember when it was fun. I play it, and then I'm like, I gotta leave. I can't play this any longer. I couldn't play it all the way through. Sure, the music's good, but that doesn't save it. So that's Genesis Day that I'm not overlooking Sonic Labyrinth. I just already know that it's obviously the worst Sonic game. But, midterm, midterm would have to be, like, it was really small amount of time. I mean, all we've got is Sonic Adventure 1, 2, I don't know if Heroes falls. We got Shuffle. Yeah, I liked Shuffle, though. I mean, I don't know if I could pick one in midterm that I don't like, because the amount of games that were in what I call midterm weren't a lot. Like, we got Sonic Adventure 1, 2, Shuffle. I don't know if you want to include Heroes into...
The handhelds, too.
Oh, but they were good, too. Sonic Advance 1, 2, 3. Oh, they were all good. Battle.
They were great.
Oh, Sonic Pinball Party. That sucked. I didn't like that, because... It was even worse than Sonic Pinball because it wasn't even Sonic in a ball. Like, I was just like, what? This isn't even Sonic. Like, it's just a silver ball. Like, it's worse. I was so mad when I played it. And, latest gen is very obvious. Sonic Next Gen is my worst one for current gen. And yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say anything about Shadow the Hedgehog.
I don't really mind Shadow the Hedgehog, to be totally honest, because... I mean, it's pretty much like Sonic Heroes without a team and with a gun. I mean, if you really, really think about it, it's not a Sonic game.
It's not.
It's a Shadow game.
It's a shooter as well.
A lot of people like it, and it sold like crazy. But it was. I had quite a bit of fun playing it. But the thing is, like I said, every Sonic game makes me smile. That game did. Because it's Shadow. Shadow doesn't make you smile. You don't get a charm from Shadow. Shadow's just Shadow. Shadow is just, if you like badass characters, then Shadow is a badass character. There you go. Enjoy your badass character. I like characters with charm, and Sonic's got charm to me. Everyone's got their own idea of what is charm and what characters have charm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Shadow the Hedgehog for you.
Well, interesting. Speaking of characters, what are your thoughts on characters? Like, what are your favorites? Which ones you wish would just be thrown away forever? And which ones do you think should make a comeback?
Okay, so the Babylon Rogues, for starters. Okay, I like Sonic Riders and everything, but I really don't think they're ever going to come back. Sure, Jet was in Mario & Sonic as the Winter Olympic Games, but there's a reason he wasn't playable, ladies and gentlemen. He just kind of sucks. And it makes sense that he'd be snowboarding, and that's a cool idea and everything. I thought that was cool. But as a character with a story, with dialogue, and like speaking to Sonic for any other reason rather than Sonic Riders sequels, or if there's ever going to be one, which I probably don't think there is. But I don't think he should ever come back. Either should any of them, because I don't like Storm either. They don't have any appeal. I mean, Wave just sounds exactly like Blaze, and Shara. It's all the same girl voice, and there's no Bob change. So characters I want to see come back. A lot of people are going to agree with me when I say this, but Mighty would be nice to see to come back eventually at some point. I remember that when Sonic Unleashed was under development, there was rumors that Fang was going to make an appearance, and that kind of got me excited because it would have been a little nice Timbit, and it would have made the story a lot more interesting, because Sonic really never encountered any characters that were actually like really cool, and like he didn't really have a cocky conversation with anybody besides the Eggman. Like, it was just Werehog, Sonic, if you consider them different characters, Chip, and Tails didn't do anything. Like, he's just like really lame in that game. That's probably why I didn't really like Sonic Unleashed that much. I mean, the only thing that saves that game is the music and the day stage gameplay. But there's so many things about it that I don't like that I could point out. The graphics were amazing too. It's hard, but it's still one of my favorite current gen Sonic games. So yeah.
And what about the characters you absolutely love? Even minor characters that you wish almost would have their own game. Do you feel that kind of love for any of the characters?
I'm a big fanboy of I like the rivalry between Sonic and Shadow, but I don't like Shadow as a character. Like, I like it when Sonic and Shadow are in a conversation. Like, a perfect example is either when Sonic and Shadow are in Green Forest, they're having a little back and forth, or they're in Sonic Heroes where they're like, hey, that's my line, kind of thing. I love that. So I love Shadow for that purpose, but when Shadow's by himself, he's lame. I don't like him. He's, especially now, he doesn't even have like the depth he used to. He used to have like a whole tragic story, and he used to be like, whoa, that guy's really emotional. But now he's just nothing. He's a boring, dull character. So that's my thoughts on Shadow, but he is still one of my favorite characters. Silver, I'd like to see him have his own game because I am so confused as to what the heck happened to him ever. Like, his whole story makes no sense to me. So I wouldn't mind playing as him through a game, and it'd be cool to see what they do with the telekinesis. And I wouldn't mind that. I mean, a lot of people would think it was stupid, but I don't have a problem with that. And I love Tails and Knuckles. If they are ever thrown away, I will be so mad. You will have no idea. I will be so mad. And Knuckles needs to guard that Master Emerald a little more often. I haven't seen the Master Emerald in the Sonic game forever. That's like, he just needs to sit there and do something. But so Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, Silver, and my favorite female Sonic character would have to be Blaze. I don't know why. Really, I have no idea why I like Blaze. It's probably just because she's just the only girl that really isn't annoying, you know? Like, she's just kind of like, hey, what's up? So, I like her. That's why I kind of liked Silver, because she kind of made Silver look cooler. So yeah, that's characters-wise, yeah.
Cool. And of course, playing a lot of games, and you're saying you like a couple of their songs. What would you say are your favorite songs from the whole series? I mean, do you like any particular artists who've made the songs? Like, do you go out and try to find some of the music? Think you really like them? I'm
not quite sure who the person that made the music for Sonic 1 or 2 or 3. I know 3. It's Jun Soon-ron and Michael Jackson and someone else. I couldn't say the names off the top of my head, but like I could never say, because I've always found that Sonic music was just always better than any other video game music. It was always Sonic's thing. There was some games that had really bad Sonic music, but Sonic music has always just been at a higher level of quality. Favorite song would have to be "It Doesn't Matter" from Sonic Adventure. The Sonic Adventure version, just the Sonic Adventure one, not Sonic 2, Sonic Adventure 2. So I'm talking so much, my tongue is just dying. Okay. Sonic Adventure 2 version of "It Doesn't Matter" I don't like, but the "It Doesn't Matter" version, Sonic Adventure, I like. It's my favorite one out of any Sonic song, just because it's the first song where someone is actually speaking to you and saying, hey, this is what Sonic is like, this is how he's supposed to be, this is what he's thinking, this is what he wants to do, you know? And it spoke to me really loudly when I first heard it, so that has to be my favorite song.
Any songs that would never existed? You should just come here and be like, stop playing the song in my game, I just want to play.
The songs that never existed. Sonic song-wise, or just any song-wise?
No, Sonic song in any of the games that you just wish you never heard, you just wish to just get rid of.
Darn, it's hard to choose that, because like I said, I just said that Sonic music has always been on like a higher level.
Yeah.
Let's see. One of the most, I find that one of the most strange music it's in Sonic Riders 1. Sonic Riders 2, the music there's some songs in Sonic Riders that are pretty catchy, but I find that in Sonic Riders, the music, all it is a beat. Like, it's all like just a the whole time. So it's got no creativity whatsoever, and I really wish they did something else with it, because it's not interesting at all. It's just kind of a techno beat while you're doing your snowboard.
Right. What are your thoughts on Sonic 4? Sega's recent undergoing coming out this summer.
Sonic 4. Oh my goodness. Probably the biggest announcement in Sonic history. Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Everyone expected him to be the black-eyed Sonic, you know, the fat one. And so did I. I was one of those few. But the night before the announcement for it was made, everyone was freaking out. It was popping out at midnight. I was kind of like, I don't know, I feel stupid now, but I'm like, I don't think they're going to call it Sonic 4. I think they're going to be a little more creative than that. And a lot of people are probably, you know.
I thought the same, actually. I was like, it's not going to be called Sonic 4, pish off.
Yeah, because if they did that, they'd be screwed, and now they're screwed because I read an article on the Sonic Stadium, and there's two sides of the argument, and I kind of fall in the middle, because I think one side of the argument is that this game is going to suck, and the name Sonic 4 shouldn't have been chosen because Sega won't be able to, you know, get perfection, because they expect perfection. So that's what one side is, and the other side is you can't really tell if it's going to be good or not yet, so don't worry, because we've only seen 3 seconds of gameplay. I fall in the middle because the one side is it should have been classic Sonic, what's wrong with you? And I'm kind of yeah, okay, it's supposed to be classic Sonic, it's not supposed to be current Sonic, because like I said, think current Sonic looks ugly, and I really don't like it. I can put up with it. I mean, I'm still buying the games, I'm still in the fan base, it's just I don't prefer it. So it'd be nice to see the Needle Mouse in Project Needle Mouse. So I agree with that. But I also agree that we can't really say anything about the game after viewing 3 seconds of gameplay. Like, all we see is a corkscrew. Woo! You know, and I've also heard that it's been confirmed that that running animation that we saw that looks really nerdy, and everyone agrees, isn't his full speed animation. He will be doing a circle or figure 8 running animation, which I'm really glad they're doing because that's part of what makes it classic Sonic. So I'm really happy with that. That was really good news for me. Sonic 4, though, I think it's going to be worth a download. I mean, Sonic is such a simple formula that it's hard to understand. Like, it's so simple, it's hard to understand. Like, every Sonic fan has a different idea of what Sonic 4 should be, and Sega's never going to be able to please everyone. So, when it comes to Sonic 4, it's risky, but I think they should go for it. I think they shouldn't change the name. I think they should change Sonic's appearance to the Needle Mouse, or Sonic Classic mode, and just continue with what they're doing as long as his appearance is changed back. And that's good. I'm okay with that.
I mean, I hope you don't mind the small discussion, but I'd like to disagree somewhat with changing him permanently just back, because the whole game, the idea of Sonic 4, I believe from before the announcement, was that it was gonna be just 2D Sonic Adventure in the modern age. I guess you can just say same old Sonic. Reference like pretty much all the old, graphics from 1, 2, 3, and maybe even Sonic CD, if you count that. But just like, I want to say more realistic, but more detailed. Like the robots. We saw the robots, and they look nothing like the old design, but at the same time, they look like a perfect advancement. So, having classic Sonic would, to me, look extremely out of place, since he would remain virtually the same. And I'm not saying, oh, give him realistic fur and whatnot. Just, what we have now is good, but just refine, make him feel like he belongs there, along with all the other enemies. I mean, we saw, like a second of Eggman, and no one's really, I haven't heard too much complaint about that. Everyone's, like, pretty fine with that. So, this, all the graphics and design seem pretty solid. Just Sonic, people are just complaining. And I thought I had a small speculation when they had when you go to the Sonic 4 website, you see characters and one of them is a question mark. People are suspecting that may be just classic Sonic, like a downloadable character.
That's not happening. That's not it.
It's not it? You really don't think that?
It can't be. Why would classic Sonic and Sonic be a different character?
Well, gameplay-wise, Sega said only playable character is Sonic. Now,
yeah, but just because that other character's in the characters list doesn't mean they're playable, right?
That's what I thought. But I'm like, this idea just kind of popped in someone's head, and I just kind of thought, hey, it might be. Who knows? Maybe Sonic Team is willing to go that far, but like, you know what? You guys want classic Sonic? Here you go. And it's basically a skin swap. Now, I probably wouldn't agree. Like, they pretty much, like, were twisted their wrists. Like, you give us classic Sonic. They finally did it. And that just show that they're not only listening to us, but they're willing to do whatever, it takes. And I wouldn't, like, want that, sort of. I'm like, you know what? Hey, make the other character, Tails. I wouldn't mind.
It's probably Tails.
Yeah, Tails. And then, I mean, because this is only episode 1. How many of the characters are willing to add, of the classic? I suspect maybe Knuckles as well. I mean,
assuming that the characters that'll appear will probably be Tails, Knuckles, Metal Sonic, and Eggman. I mean, it's a direct sequel to Sonic 3. Like, it's a direct sequel, so that's kind of why I want him to look more like classic Sonic, because it would make more sense. Like, hey, I just came out of the plastic surgeon, I'm different now. Like, it just doesn't make sense that it's supposed to really make us feel like we actually are playing the old Sonic games again, as if it ever existed.
I mean, that was I read somewhere that, Sonic has a lot of plot holes, and one being his appearance. And I always just assumed, to us, he looks different. But throughout his life, always been a blue hedgehog, green eyes. Maybe, they gave him black eyes, but his character design has evolved, but he's the same old Sonic. So, maybe he's always looked that way. Maybe it doesn't really matter in the end. Gameplay-wise, it's all that boring. But fans, again, they want what they've always had. And I say to some really hardcore retro, gamers who just dislike the new games, I tell them, if you want, same old, go play the same old game over and over. Play some fan hacks, I don't care, but don't keep complaining to me. And now we have Sonic 4, and they're still not satisfied. We're just gonna have to wait for the game to actually come out. Hopefully, people once just hated on the little dude. I'm gonna give him the respect he deserves. Because honestly, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of sick.
Oh, I know. I agree. I'm tired of the negativity. Like, I actually really noticed the ridiculousness of it when Sonic and the Black Knight and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing came out, because we just got through the Werehog thing. We just got through like all that stuff, and then people are just like, yeah, it's bad. And then Sonic and like Sega's like, and this, so they're like, yeah, it's bad. Like, they always find something bad about everything. They're never all love it. Like, why can't we just be like Mario's fan base, where it's just like Mario Galaxy 2, yeah! Mario has a water gun, woo, we don't care! Like, Mario can have a water gun, but Sonic can't have a sword? What's up with that? Like, come on.
I can see where they're coming from. Going on with Sonic so long, we just want the same old one, but any slight difference will just blow up. While Mario fans, I can agree that at least, Nintendo, they've kept to the formula and just built upon that, and that's why they're so successful. And the most complaint
it gets a little boring. Like you said, without the gimmicks, it's just the same old thing, and you lose interest. Like, I used to be a Mario fan. Look at me now. I'm on the other side of the planet away from Mario because he hasn't changed anything, really. Ooh, he's in space this time. Holy crap. No, not really. There's not much of a turn of events.
And even then, Mario fans are just as fickle as Sonic fans, but when they, one of the worst rated, or maybe just most unliked, I don't know, but, design was pretty good, was Sunshine, because they were like, why does he have a water gun? But he still was, a platformer. Just this whole new element was kind of this, like, maybe in a small part. It wasn't, as bad as, Sonic with a sword. It's just, something different. And then they went right back to normal Mario in the next game. And, and people play Mario games, they aren't one to go out like, oh man, Mario Party. They don't feel like that. Or Mario, in this sport or whatever. They just stick to the mainstream Mario, and he keeps selling. What can I say? While Sonic has been, as we talked about, just keeps changing. There's no, at this point, it's like, we label him as a platformer, and people go like, really? You really can't tell from just looking at one game. You have to either look at it from a whole or look at what made it Sonic. So yeah, that's that. Mardic, winding down. You want to tell the folks listening at home where to find your work? Where can we find Mardic?
Mardic, you can get me in the obvious way as possible. You can search my name right in Google. M-R-M-R-D-I-C. In Google, you'll find my DeviantArt and my YouTube right away. And that's pretty much all you need to do to find me.
Any future plans for yourself? Any future projects, maybe, that we could look forward to?
A dub with Shadow in it. Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
And speaking of your voices, if you want, give us some examples of some of your best voices or favorite voices, stuff you do most commonly, so we can get a little taste of Mardic.
Well, I've been doing pretty much my Sonic voice in a lot of occasions throughout this thing, and it's pretty, it's self-explanatory. It's just a higher version of myself. Like, I don't really know, I'd be like, get over there! And it'd be a Sonic voice. And Knuckles is like, a wimpy version of a low voice. And he always cries and stuff. And Shadow is pretty much an impersonation of the Jason Griffith thing, except an over-exaggeration where he's always angry, and he's just like, yes! I am the ultimate life! Maria. That's all he talks about. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. I can do a lot with my voice, and I do a lot of voice acting, but I can't just, give you everything my voice can do.
It's fun. I mean, anyone who's listening wants to check out your have a voice demo somewhere up on your YouTube. Maybe a little outdated, but it definitely has a lot of his voice samples, and I can tell you this guy is he's definitely got something. So Evan, have you had fun tonight?
I always love being interviewed, so if anyone ever wants to interview me, no matter how small, like if you're like, oh, I only get 3 views on all my interviews, I don't care. I love doing this. I don't even care if no one's watching right now. The amount of viewers doesn't matter to me. I mean, if it was 8,000, I wouldn't be any different than I am now. It's just, I have fun doing it, so.
Well, that's the kind of outlook we like on the show. You know, have fun with whatever you're doing. Like good old Sonic. Yeah, for nerds. So yeah, any advice for any upcoming fan dubbers?
Well, all you really need to do, try and not swear as much as you can. I mean, swearing is funny, but it's got to be executed properly, obviously. Like, I used to swear inappropriately, and it was just bad. That's how everyone starts, though, and I guess it's okay to start like that. But all you really need is a high-quality microphone and high-quality footage without subtitles or anything on it. And you don't even have to have a good voice, really. It's not about the voice acting skill. If you think you're clever and funny and you can poke at something in the Sonic franchise that no one's ever really touched, then you go with it, because that's going to get you really popular. Like, if you just talk about how Shadow's emo over and over again, it's over. It's boring. You gotta think of something else for yourself.
You need a good script, right?
Yeah, you need your own thing.
Alright, cool. Well, that was Mardic, everyone. Evan, as he prefers to be called. And you know where you can find him. And if you like the show, remember, find us on Facebook, become a fan of the page, make sure to spread the word. We'll keep you updated. And I'd like to thank Evan, aka Mardic, for joining us. If you'd like to see more, Mardic, we're glad to have you here. If we ever wanted to come back, maybe be a guest co-host, if we ever need you, talk about some, latest Sonic news, you're welcome. You're welcome to come back. And glad to have you here.
Thank you, my good sir.
And everybody, see you next week. Catch us on the same Sonic place, same Sterling versus time.